Hello everyone, E here, coming to you once again with another LEGO Hogwarts update. And like always, I'm here every 2 weeks to give you everything that has changed in the LEGO Hogwarts castle. And this whole project keeps going strong. So let's put all the mess away and get to it. Time to reveal the second gargoyle in the Great Hall, namely the Slytherin Gargoyle, the snake. Once again, this is a creation by, Zenith Creations, with whom I am collaborating very often. And he took on the challenge of creating 4 different gargoyles for every Hogwarts house. Now, the snake is a little bit different compared to the eagle, which I've taken out one piece over here so we can see them side by side. Now, the eagle is a lot more simplistic. It looks great. And the snake is a tad more complicated, and there's quite a few more pieces needed to make one snake. But that was necessary, unfortunately, because, well, we wanted really to make this look like a snake as much as possible. And I love this element here where you can have the tail go around the body, and it's really curl-like in a little ring, and then it really allows you to move the snake around like this if you wanted to make it like so. I prefer to make it a little bit behind and then straight up, something like this. I'm pretty happy with this in the end. It was important to keep the scaling pretty much the same. Have to keep in mind that these gargoyles have their own slots inside the Great Hall. They need to, well, obviously not touch each other, need to be able to stand side by side in a row, and to look like they're from the same, family in a way. So the snake, the biggest problem was the head, and it's still not optimal. We really wanted to place some more details here. That's why I placed these 2 inverted 1x1 studs. Something that these are eyes, but they're not supposed to be eyes. They're supposed to be as part of coloration on the snake. But if you like them to be eyes, whatever. For me, they're not. They're just decoration to the snake. That way we were able to add some more detail to the head without, really ruining it. We tried to make to add a jaw maybe, but it just was too part intensive. It didn't look right. So this is what we ended up stopping on, which I feel like is fine. So yeah, once again, thanks to Zenith Creations for doing this. 2 are done and 2 to go. So let's place its 3 brothers inside, and I will show you how the Great Hall looks inside with all, now 8 gargoyles. And here we go. The 4 snake gargoyles are placed right next to the eagles over here, and 2 more in the same position, of course, but mirrored in the other end, which leaves only 6 spots, which will mean we'll have 3 lions and 3 badges. Overall, once again, very, very pleasing result. And I feel like this kind of style is here to stay. Looking really forward to what we'll come up with regarding the other 2 animals, although they are I would say the most complex out of the 4, especially the badger. But I have faith in Zenith Creations. Anyway, I feel like this is a very big improvement over the, what it used to be before. Still wondering what to do with these gargoyles. Now I'm thinking, should I put the chains back on? It's not impossible to place chains, for example, hanging from somewhere. I'm thinking about it, but it's something that I will, if I'm going to add it, it's going to be added in the very, very end. Now it's really starting to annoy me that we don't have this texture over here, and I'm still waiting for the pieces to cover all these empty studs, which would mean I will likely have to take off all the gargoyles and all the windows to have easier access to, well, this section here. Not to mention that I'll have to align them as best as I can. So yeah, doing it from here is out of the question. Well, with these being placed now, let's go to, well, whatever I'm doing next. Once again, thanks to Zenith Creations for making these and taking the initiative. You can follow him on Instagram and check his other creations. He's a very talented young builder. The Instagram link, as usual, is below in this video. And by the way, while we're still here, I have added 10 new hair pieces to the overall Great Hall scene. So if you'd like, you could pause over here and try to spot all 10. I'm pretty sure that's possible. But yeah, 10 more hair pieces, and now the variety is even a little bit better. I think there would be maybe another 2 to 3 to 5 changes that I would like to make. So whenever I find some unique hair pieces that are fitting in this space, I will probably go back and replace. So in the end, we'll have, well, not necessarily every single minifig with a unique hair piece to this scene, but close to it. For example, right now, after the changes I made, we don't have a single blonde hairpiece that is identical, which is great. And also, I think it's the same with the ginger ones. So yeah, I really like how this is improving. Very little here to do. Might have mentioned before, I'd like to add 2 more Ravenclaw students, I think. Well, I finished the middle tower finally, so let's talk about it, what it looks like. Is it good? Is it bad? Am I satisfied with it? Wow, it's kind of difficult to keep it all in frame. But yeah, this is what it looks like. Now, as I mentioned before, this tower is very problematic. Pretty much nobody that I've seen that has tackled the Great Hall and this mid tower, they've not done the job right, and that includes myself. But if you compare this to the mid tower that was present for quite a while before this rebuild actually started happening, it is quite a big improvement. Now, the problem usually is that, well, this spire, because it is so very tall and it has to shrink, and up here it's so very thin. Obviously in Lego that can't be recreated. Many people have tried many different things. Usually they go with plates, but as I've mentioned, plates, when you're building in this massive scale, is just doesn't look right. It's ugly in my opinion, and it's just going in the wrong direction. Unless you are spicing those plates with a lot, and I mean a lot of detail, and still those holes that are created by the plates, it just doesn't look right. And this specific tower, it was just not, I don't see how it would work. But since my whole roof is built with bricks, this would make sense to be also made with bricks. So, well, let's talk about the spire first, and then about everything else. Now, I tried to kind of sculpt it in a way that would make sense. So I tried to find some kind of pattern to use different kinds of slopes and angles like these here. These slopes over here that are used, I think, in the courtyard, or actually over here. The same piece here that I use for the windows. Then I have the slopes here to shrink on all sides, and also these over here underneath. So if you look carefully, there is some kind of pattern going on which helps really to kind of give the illusion of this being a kind of slopey, geometrical, logical spire. What I don't like, or maybe I don't like, is up here. This doesn't make much sense. I don't have the pieces currently, not in any color, unless I extract some from the fireplace inside. But I might want to try with these 3 brick tall bricks, these that are angled this way, except they're not 1 brick tall, they're 3 bricks tall, and then end with this. Not sure it will look right. Height wise, it would pretty much be the same. Yeah, have to try. Maybe this would actually look better because it really helps to represent this thin spire, which it should be in the end. But I think this is pretty good result. Before, if you remember over here, it was kind of chunkier, which was unnatural. And I have kept the same way here to recreate this form and shape. Now, is it perfect? No, it's not perfect, but the best thing I got so far. I'll try to improve it. For example, over here, you see how the tan really shows a little bit, but this can't really be avoided. For these, they have to be a different angle in order for this not to show. Doesn't matter how you change the colors here, it still shows somehow, which really annoys me. But probably that's the smallest problem. Now over here, I try to keep that shape by placing these 1x4s, which is no, it looks okay, but it's just difficult to recreate and be really faithful to the original design. Now, obviously, over here there will be a lot more details like this once I get the pieces. One thing I have added is these tiles here, just to add some more texture, similar to what I did inside the Great Hall. I am not sure if this portion here should be this high. Now, proportion wise, it should be, but maybe I'm thinking about decreasing by 1 or 2 bricks, so this is not so tall. But I don't know, tell me what you think. The rendering that I'm following, maybe this should be a tad shorter, this tan side. I don't know. Other than that, I think that this is a big improvement to what it was before, and I'm kind of liking what this is. Now the tower is also a lot sturdier. This whole spire is pretty sturdy, and so is the tower. The only minus is that there is no lights here. The light from the roof will not go inside of this tower. So if I want any lights in here, I have to put a separate light body. But then again, these towers are not hollow either. So, well, this one is. This is hollow inside, at least part of it. But these are not. They're solid bricks, so I can't put any lights here. The mid tower, I would say, is done for the time being. I will experiment with a few things to fix this problem here, maybe improve this, and the already mentioned conversion here with a different variant, but it will either be this or the other one. Other than that, the height is as it should be compared to where this tower ends and this one continues. And yeah, now with this done, we'll see if I have any more time for anything else before I actually have to upload this video. But in any case, I will start thinking about implementing the kitchens again and the Hufflepuff entrance over here underneath. So while I was trying to figure out what exactly to do down here and how to handle the kitchens in the Hufflepuff entrance, the common room, I really started to think about the garden over here, namely these different modules that I made before that were really covering this whole section from here around the back and the other side. And even though this doesn't really exist in the original castle, it's something that I really like doing, and I feel like I will be bringing it back. Now, before, everything was positioned really on these standard base plates, and these are the plates that were before, with all the structure really left before I started the reconstruction process. And you can see here where the whole building used to rest and where the rock work used to rest as well. And I was thinking, well, I don't really want to go back to that. It's a good time to improve on it. And what I've decided to do is to really scrap these base plates. I want to have a surface once again, but they will not be these flaky base plates. Not because the base plates themselves are flaky, but more like I want to escape this default 32 by 32 or 48 by 48 or 8 by 16 or whatever the Lego base plates offer. I want to make custom platforms. So I decided to make a kind of a Mills plate. So here is a part of it. This is, well, this is a big thing. As you can see, this is pretty big, yeah. So this should be like 64 by 60 studs. And this is one of these plates that I've made. Well, a Mills plate which doesn't have a normal base plate underneath, it's just more plate, similar to what I made with this base plate here, and the one with the students, which is removable. So I decided, okay, let's make this platform that will actually stick out 15 studs this side and 15 studs this side as well. And on top of it, I will place once again the garden modules. Obviously, you'll have to extend them a little bit, as this building now is several studs longer, like 20 studs or something. So yeah, I have only parts for this one right now and have some for the second one. I decided to split it in two because, well, it's just easier to move around and to just, if I have to place it somewhere, if it's twice as big, it would be a problem. So I'll have these two that are identical, and I will place the building on top of it with 15 studs sticking on each side. I will place this little pocket of tiles and these kind of tile plates, so I can drop the building and it doesn't go anywhere, but at the same time it's easily removable. And I will place some tiling again on the side, so these little pockets of garden can be positioned. But more on that next time. Just really want to share that, in my opinion, this is an improvement over all these base plates that are just, I didn't like this to begin with. Which actually means that once I go to the courtyard, which again is on a Mills plate, a classic Mills plate with a base plate underneath, I'll have to change it to this model as well. And with that, I believe that I have nothing left to show you today. Next time, hopefully I'll be able to build the full Mills plate platform and place all the garden pieces back together. And hopefully maybe I'll have time for something else. But until then, thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and if you have anything to say or any kind of input to give, it's always appreciated if you leave it down below in the comment section. Like always, stay healthy, And I will see you guys again in next 2 weeks as usual, as I'm never going away. Bye for now.